Hey y'all, welcome to Paige's Perspective, where I help you find your inner strength to cope with life. This week I'm going to touch on the fear of rejection. We've made a lot of content this week based on the importance of connections and community, and I mentioned in our Wednesday episode how I don't feel worthy of connection. So I decided to dig a bit deeper into this because I needed this reminder myself. So not only is this episode for you, our listeners, it's for me too. I'm in this with you. So let's say that you feel like you have a fear of rejection and that's why you aren't making connections. Let's dig into this. Even if you think you don't fear rejection, this episode may be helpful anyway. You may take some gems from this. Nobody likes rejection. But for people who have loved an addict or been in an unhealthy relationship, whether you're still in it or you've left, rejection cuts deeper than just a simple no. It doesn't just feel like someone choosing something else over you. It feels like confirmation that you're not enough. Maybe you've fought for years to be seen, valued, prioritized, only to feel invisible. Maybe you've poured love, patience, and understanding into someone, hoping they would choose you over their addiction, only to watch them make the same destructive choices. Or maybe after years of that pain, you finally walked away, but now the fear of putting yourself out there to friends, family, or someone within the community, it feels paralyzing. It might feel scary. And it doesn't matter if you're still in the relationship, considering leaving, or long gone. The fear of rejection lingers. It affects how you show up in friendships, how you advocate for your needs, and whether you allow yourself to be fully seen. But here's the truth. The rejection you've experienced in this relationship, whether active or past, was never about you. And if you don't untangle that belief, it's going to keep you from experiencing true, healthy connection. When you love someone who has harmed you, your sense of worth takes so many hits. That's why a lot of people find us. They feel lost, confused, unsure of who they are anymore. You get ignored or your feelings are minimized. You spent so much time trying to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, only to feel like an afterthought. Even if they said they loved you, their actions told a different story. We know that many times in these relationships, their actions do not align with their words. And then you learn to work for love. You bend over backwards. You hope that if you were just patient enough or understanding enough or loving enough that they would finally choose you. But no matter what you did, it didn't change their choices. They kept doing what they were doing. And honestly, it just gets progressively worse. Some of you may have gotten blamed for things that weren't really yours to carry. Addicts are masters at shifting responsibility. Maybe they told you that you were too much or that you were the reason they drank or used. And after hearing that long enough, it's going to start sinking in. You're going to start believing it. And that breaks my heart. This kind of emotional damage doesn't just disappear even if you leave. It sticks with you. It makes you believe that rejection is proof that you weren't enough instead of just being part of life. So when you think about opening up to new people, whether in friendships, or even deepening connections with family, your brain might automatically assume rejection is coming. And because you've been so conditioned to believe rejection means that you're not good enough, you avoid situations where you might have to face it again. You might not even realize it, but this fear of rejection is keeping you from connection. You may hesitate to open up. You don't ask for what you need because you've learned that people don't always show up. You assume rejection before it happens. Someone doesn't text you back, they must not like you. A friend seems distant, they're probably pulling away. But the truth is people get busy. Not every shift means that something is wrong. You hold yourself back from new relationships, whether it's friendships or even relationships within your family. You might be subconsciously waiting for someone to prove that they really want you before you let your guard down. But here's the kicker. This keeps you trapped in the same loneliness you're afraid of. Because it's not that people don't want you, it's that you're too scared to let them in. And I get it. I feel it. I completely understand it. And one of the biggest things you need to rewire in your brain is this. Not every rejection is personal. Think about times in your life when you've had to say no to someone. It probably wasn't because they weren't good enough. It was because of your circumstances. Maybe you were busy dealing with something personal or just not in the place to give what they needed. Now flip that perspective. Sometimes when people pull away or don't reciprocate the way you want, it has nothing to do with you. But when you've been in an addictive relationship where rejection felt deeply personal, it's really hard to separate that. The rejection you felt from the addict in your life, that wasn't about you either. That was about their struggle, their pain, and their shit. But if you keep carrying that pain forward, you're going to assume every distance, every unanswered message, every slight pullback from someone means that you aren't enough. And that's just not the truth. Think about it. Every single person you've ever met in your life was either a connection that stuck or someone who passed through. You probably don't keep in touch with everyone you went to school with. You've had friendships fade. You've met people who just weren't your vibe. That's just how life works. Not everyone is going to be a good fit for you, and you won't be a good fit for everyone. And that's not a failure. That's just reality, and it's totally okay. And we forget that rejection is part of the process of finding the right people. If you take every rejection as proof that you're unworthy, you'll stop trying. But if you see rejection as simply filtering out the wrong people, then it stops feeling so personal. So instead of thinking, why didn't they want me? Try thinking, okay, that wasn't the right fit. Let's move on. The people who are meant to be in your life won't make you fight for a seat at their table. So what do? Because fear of rejection isn't just going to vanish. The only way to get past it is to push through it. Start small. Send the text. Make the call. Say yes to the coffee invite. Go to the community and post. Comment. Reach out to someone. Don't let your brain trick you into thinking that people don't care. Reframe rejection as redirection. If someone doesn't reciprocate, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're unlovable. It means they weren't meant to be your people, and that's okay. Remember that you've already survived worse. You've experienced rejection in one of the deepest ways possible. A friend ghosting you or a connection not working out isn't going to destroy you. The only way to prove to yourself that connection is possible is to actually try. But what if they don't reject you? Fear of rejection makes you obsess over the worst case scenario, but let's flip that. What if this time people actually show up? What if you do find real, deep, meaningful relationships? What if for once you don't have to fight to be seen and valued? You've already been through the worst kind of rejection, the kind that makes you feel like you weren't enough, but you are enough. And if someone can't see that, that's their loss. The right people will love you without making you work for it, but you have to take the risk to find them. If you let fear of rejection control you, you'll end up rejecting yourself before anyone else gets the chance. You won't reach out because you assume the answer will be no. You'll keep people at arm's length because you're scared they won't accept the real you. You'll stay in relationships, even toxic ones, because the thought of being alone feels worse than the thought of being mistreated. But when you do this, you're robbing yourself of real connection. You're making rejection happen before it even has a chance to. Avoiding rejection doesn't actually protect you. It just keeps you stuck. The reality is some people will reject you. Some people will misunderstand you. Some people won't be the right fit, but you can handle it. You've already been through worse than an unanswered text or a fading friendship. You will survive and you will find the right people if you don't let the fear of rejection stop you from trying. Fear of rejection will keep you lonely if you let it. It'll make you hesitate when you should reach out. It'll make you assume the worst when someone doesn't respond the way you expected. It'll convince you that staying guarded is safer than being seen. But connection is worth the risk because the right people, they won't reject you. They'll meet you halfway. They'll show up. But you'll never know that if you don't take the chance. Remember, you are worthy of having deep, meaningful relationships. And that's all I have for this week. Until next time, I'm Paige. Bye.